Tractate Zevachim, page 17. We are 2 lines from the top of the page. Our Mishnah Kedosha tells us that there are 3 ofanim, 3 ways of making psilut ba'avodah, doing the service in the Holy Temple in Jerusalem, making 3 types of work unfit. They explain to us in the Mishnah that they have the Tvul Yom, someone who's, for example, a Zav Gadol, meaning a person that have a semen discharge. He sees, which he called in the earlier studies, Shalosh Re'ayot Beziva. So therefore he needs to count Shiv'a Nekiyim, the 7 days period, and the 7th day he needs to duck himself in the ritual bath in the mikveh. And then he needs to wait for Ha'arev Shemesh, for the time of the sunset. And the following day he needs to bring a sacrificial offering, and as long as it's not completed, it's called Mechusar Kippurim. Mechusar Kippurim meaning he is not completed, and there is a ritual need in order to be total pure. That's basically Hashlamat Ta'arato. So as far as the Achila Betruma, if it's not complete, Mechusar Kapara still can eat Betruma, lo me'akev. And the third option is Tameh, someone who's just ritually impure. That's the 3 in the Mishnah. So now the Gemarah follows that teaching, and they speak about Tvul Yom. Now, Tvul Yom can be someone who's ritually impure, as we said earlier, for many reasons. For example, Tum'at Sheretz, if he touches a creeping animal. Another, even Tum'at Met, touching a corpse. So he needs to count those days and then duck himself. So the Mishnah said, Tvul Yom, if someone who's ritually impure that duck himself, but he still did not have the final stage of Ha'arev Shemesh, of sunset. So that's the idea of Lo rak pasul ela gam posel, pasul uposel, which means since it's not complete as all the decorum of ritual impurity, therefore he can make something else also ritually impure. So the Gemarah asks a question, Menalan, how do you know that he is desecrated? Mechalel et avodat Beit HaMikdash. Tanya, Rabbi Simai omer remez litvul yom. So Rabbi Simai says from where the Torah have this allusion. So they said it's a remez. It means that it's indirect source. So there is a discussion here among the Mefarshim. What does that mean? You can't tell me it's rabbinic or it's asmachta. You have to say that it's Torah. But because you derive it from, you should call koach hayitur, so therefore they use this term of remez. But actually, in reality, it's makor, it's the source from the Torah. You see in the book called Sdeh Chemed, Ma'arechet Hareish, several examples of the meaning of the word remez. You see it also in Rabbeinu Ovadia Yosef Zatzal in Even HaEzer Membet. Anyway, remez litvul yom sheim avad chilel minayin, that if he performed the temple service, he desecrates the service. So therefore the Torah tells us in the book of Vayikra, chapter 21, verse 6, Kodashim yihiyu, they should be holy, velo yechalelu, and they should not desecrate the name of God. And if you remember, by the end of the shiur yesterday, we described the difference between Chilul Hashem, Kiddush Hashem. If it's not written with regard to a matter of an impure Kohen who perform in the Beit HaMikdash service, the nafik mi veyinazru, that we derive from the word veyinazru, and they shall separate themselves from the sacred item of the children of Israel in Leviticus 22. Tnehu inyan litvul yom. So you basically put it in the understanding that this come to teach us the law of tvul yom, meaning even he immersed himself in a mikveh, but since it doesn't have the ha'arev shemesh, he did not complete his work, and therefore tneu inyan, he desecrate mechalel avodah. So the Gemara asks, "Eima tneu inyan lekoreach korcha ulmashchit pe'at zakan." You may say that that's applied to different rules. The Torah said that someone who's, in those days, some tribes and others used to do it when they want to express the tremendous sorrow and act of sadness and contrition, they used to create a bald spot upon the head or destroy the beard. So that's basically, or some said Megaleach Batar, but anyway, all this, that's the azhara that the Torah put specifically for the Kohanim. So the Gemara said, Tvul Yom de'im avad, that if he did avodah, walk in Beit HaMikdash b'mita, his punishment by heavenly court. Menale lan, from where we have the source, the Gemarah would derive it from the Gemarah in Sanhedrin, page 83b. They have a verbal juxtaposition of using the word chilul mitroma. They talk about the act of profanation, which means something that is profane, is desecration from the truma. So there is a Gemarah in Tractate Menachot, page 59, as well as we said Sanhedrin 83b, that they speak about Gzera Shava. So Gzera Shava, כבר לא, it's not מכוח סברה, but it's only מה שקיבל מרבותיו, only what he received as a tradition from his teachers. The pasil מתרומה, like טבול יום, מכיל עבודה, the לא פסיל בתרומה, like כורחה, לא מכיל עבודה. So it's there's who has created a bald spot, or one who destroyed his beard, does not profane the service. So that's basically the korach korcha lemet, השחטת פאת זקן, all these examples. אמר רבא, למה לי דכתב רחמנה? Why the Torah needs to tell us in regards to tameh, which impure kohen, utvul yom, and one who immersed that day, umchusar kippurim, one who did not brought yet atonement's offering, all form of disqualified the rites they perform. Wouldn't it have been enough to teach the halakha in only one case? Why you need all of them? So there is a Rashi here that try to say that betvul yom mechusar kippurim it's different, but anyway, the tzriche, you need both. It's necessary in each case. Is a stringency not presented in the others. Di katav rachmana tameh. So she can metame, because it can create in a way a contagiousness that makes others ritually impure. But tvul yom mechusar kippurim, that's not carry ritual impurity to others, that's not mechalel ha'avodah, desecrated the work. Now, if the Torah will speak only bitvul yom mechusar kippurim lo atei minei, so only the one who have tvul yom but not have erev shemesh, so mechusar kippurim we cannot derive from him. Why? Sheken pasul mitruma. Right, because the former is unfit to partake the truma, while the latter is not. So now they said במחוסר כיפורים, טבול יום לא אתם מיני שכמחוסר מעשה. So it's a lack of atonement offering. Then the case of one who immersed that day could not be derived from it, since only the former has not yet performed a necessary action, while one who immersed that day must simply wait for nightfall in order to become fully pure. So the Gemarah said, Mechada lo atei, teitei chada mitartei. From one of these cases, the other two cannot be derived, but let one be derived from the other two. So the Gemarah asks, Beheila lichtov rachmana, la lichtov במחוסר כיפורים ותיתה מהנח, מה להנח שכן פסולים בתרומה. All of that, since one has not yet brought an atonement offering, may partake of truma, perhaps he does not disqualify the right he performed. אלא לה לכתוב רחמנה בטבול יום ותיתה מהנח, דמאי פרחת, how can you refute this? One cannot reply, מה להנח שכן מחוסרים מעשה, since they are not yet performed a necessary action. סוף סוף קלישה לה טומאתן, but the impurity of one has not yet brought the atonement's offering, is weak when compared to one who immersed that day. Relatively speaking, one who has not yet brought an atonement offering is not considered to be lacking the performance of an action. Page 17b, Kasavar, Rabbah hold, Mechusar Kippurim, a person who has experienced the zav, they use here the term gonorrhea like discharge, who has not yet brought an atonement offering, is still considered to have impure status of zav, the zav kezav dami. So in that sense, when it's come to Kodashim, he's the same as a regular zav gamur that didn't a taval. Now, so what you see here, so the impurity of one who is immersed but not yet brought an atonement offering is therefore considered stronger than the one who immersed that day but requires no atonements. So the Gemarah asks, "Umchusar kippurim de zav kezav dami?" It's really the same as zav. May you say that that's the machloket Tanai, disputation among Tanaim, and that's a Tosefta in Tractate Parah, chapter 4. The Tanya, when it's come to a burning of the red heifer, so the Torah tells us that part of that ritual, you see more in the Gemarah in Yoma, page 42, and obviously the source in the Torah book of Bamidbar, chapter 19. Srafa onen umchusar kippurim. If an acute mourner burn it, or someone who's lack of an atonement, ksheira, by force of circumstance, it's okay, it's fitting. But Rashi and others explain why is that. But anyway, מרומי שדה, טהרת הקודש also expand the rational. יוסף הבבלי אומר, אונן כשרה מחוסר כיפורים פסולה. יוסף הבבלוני sage hold that the zav who has not yet brought an atonement offering is considering a full-fledged zav, and therefore disqualifies the red heifer. And the first Tana holds that zav who has not yet brought an atonement מה אליו בא מר סבר, יוסף הבבלי hold מחוסר כזב כזב דמי, ומר סבר תנקם עליו כזב דמי. But is instead considered like one who immersed that day, who is fit to burn the red heifer. So the Gemarah rejected that, said, "Lo." The Kuli Alma everyone hold that if you have a case of mechusar kippurim kezav dame, ואחר כך באק המפלגי, דכתיב, they said in Bayikra, chapter 19, verse 19, ויזר טהור על הטמא. מכלל שהוא טמא, לימד על טבול יום שכשר כפרה. סבר טומאה דכל התורה כולה. So Rashi explained, תנא סבר, היי טבול יום דכאשר בא קרא, טבול יום דכל הטומאות שבתורה קאי ואף טבול יום, דזב שהוא מחוסר כיפורי. So basically the way Rashi explains that any one of these type of ritual impurities, regarded if it's a tum'ah that requested a special sacrificial offering, for example, touching a creeping animal or dead body of a person, it's not required to bring a korban, versus ben tmuna kapara, like zav. So it means even tvul yom, it's in zav, is also mechusar kippurim. So therefore Tanna Kama derived from that mechusar kippurim is befitting to do a burning of the parah. Mar Yosef Bavli savar tuma de'ach parasha. So that's basically the one who contact the ritual impurity of death, the dead body, meaning corpse. So he is impure 7 days, and during that time they sprinkle blood on him. They sprinkle water on him. The 3rd day and the 7th day, from the water that's sanctified with the ashes of the red heifer. And the 7 days he duck himself in mikveh, and when he's done, he needs to wait for Aref Shemesh. It's called Tvul Yom Demet. Hilkach onenu Tvul Yom Detme Sheretz Dekilei, or the Bach take out the word onen. בקל וחומר מטבול יום דמת, אבל מחוסר כיפורים דזב דחמיר, שכן טומאה יוצאה מגופו, and that's applied to all the 4 מחוסרי כפרה. זב, זרעבה, יולדת מצורע, that the by themselves is not by the maga, by the touching with other. לא. So you basically do not derive that he is fit to participate in the rite of the red heifer. So as you see the maskana, you can argue and you can say that both Tanna Kama and Yosef Bavli בכלל חלקו על משהו אחר. It's totally disputed over something totally different. They disputed, חלקו לגבי שריפת הכרה, they disputed in regards to burn of the red heifer, if it's כשירה בטבול יום של זהב or not. So that's from this pasuk, you cannot derive hekesh also בטבול יום של זהב. But that's basically what's the disputation, if מחוסר כיפורים דזהב כזהב דמי or not. That's not the question, because in this one, for sure, ודאי סברו מחוסר כיפורים דזהב דמי. The big question, if בכל זאת, if anyway, כשר לגבי פרה אדומה, and that's basically disputation. The שריפת הפרה, if it's כשירה בטבול יום של זהב, the whole idea, if anyway it's כשר, in regard to the פרה אדומה.